So, I saw it. The Reliant. What is there to say about The Reliant? It fucking sucks ass! The end! Alright. I'm guessing you want me to talk about this garbage. Anyways, The Reliant is directed by editor Paul Munger, the director of Princess Cut 1 and 2, and this film is written by J.P. Johnston. Now, if you're wondering who exactly J.P. Johnston is, well, he is Patrick Johnston, husband to this woman. And we all know the history of this woman. This film also stars D-list movie star Kevin Sorbo, or as we all know him as our main man, Hercules!
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
So, what makes this film so bad? Well, it's the typical right-wing fear-monger propaganda film. The acting is terrible, the editing is abysmal, the plot is implausible and illogical, the script and dialogue are horrendous, which, you know, it's kind of strange coming from a film that actually has a high production values. I kind of wonder though, how the hell were they able to get the budget of it? Let's just get into this garbage plot, shall we? When crisis strikes and their world crumbles, is God reliable to meet their needs, or must their faith be blind to facts? You know, if in the scenario, if the dollar ever collapses and the US plunges into anarchy with looting and robbing and deaths, I doubt you would be relying on God to meet your needs. Who's gonna shelter you from the harm? Who's gonna keep you from starving? There are 7.7 billion people on the planet, and you think God's watching out for this one family alone? Really? Back to the synopsis. After an innocent trip to the store ends in rioting and chaos, father of five Rick, played by Kevin Sorbo, rushes home desperate to gather his family and find safety. His plans are dashed when the very same men suddenly appear, led by the ruthless Jack, played by Brian Bosworth. Caught in the deadly crossfire, the children are forced to seek shelter in the surrounding woods. Yes, I also like to point out in this shootout, Kevin Sorbo's character dies. This happens 19 minutes into the film, so your main character, the first actor to be billed on the poster and in the credits, is killed off in the first act. I guess he got paid pretty well on a budget of $1.3 million. Alone and vulnerable, the children's faith and family bonds are pushed to the limit, especially of those of the eldest daughter, Sophie, played by Molly Gray, who questions the morality of gun ownership but soon learns that in God all things are good, especially her family's Second Amendment right to defend themselves. It's now up to the children to reclaim their home, find their parents, and put an end to Jack's rampage. So this film is not only fearmonger propaganda, it's also fearmonger Second Amendment propaganda film. Lovely, lovely, lovely. At the heart of The Reliant is a love story. It's an anthem of hope in the hardest times of forgiveness and redemption. Also featuring the celebrated Benham brothers. Whoa! You just hold on a second! First off, if this movie is a love story, then When Harry Met Sally is considered a horror film then. If this movie is a love story, then Casablanca is a pornography. This film is nowhere near a love story. Hell, this movie is rated PG-13 for sequence of violence and thematic material involving guns, and originally got an R rating. And second, the celebrated Benham brothers? Really? Well, then again, what did you expect when they are friends with the Johnstons? This film is absolute garbage. It's so bad, it makes the God's Not Dead series, The Room, Birdemic, Shock and Terror, and yes, even Canyon Trail look like cinematic masterpieces. A film so void of any thought and reason. A film that constantly shoves the religious aspect down your fucking throat. A film that has continuity errors out the wazoo. This film belongs in the pit of hell where it belongs. This film also suffers from Return of the King syndrome. Return of the King syndrome, in my opinion, is where a movie suffers from multiple ending opportunities, and in this movie, there were multiple ending opportunities. I also like to point out that something that I just noticed on IMDb, the top billed actor in this movie is Eric Roberts. I have no idea how they were able to get Eric Roberts in this movie, but he was only in this movie for about 5 seconds worth of screen time. If that's not false advertising, I don't know what is. Another thing these filmmakers were saying is that how this film was selling out tickets. And yes, when I went to get my ticket for this movie, it looked like it was pretty damn packed. But when I actually got into the auditorium, there were like 15 people plus me. Methinks someone in the filmmaker side was buying tickets just to, to boost their number. Oh, and also side note, at random parts of this movie, people were actually leaving. If your target audience can see right through your bullshit, that's when you need to admit that you fucked up. My final point of this BS movie is that this film took forever to get released. The first trailer for this movie was released back in May of 2017. This means that this film was well into production back in 2016 and was in post-production hell for over 2 years. My question is, what took forever to get this movie out? Did the budget run out that quickly? I guess it did. How could you explain that the fact that they gave away an AR-15? How could you explain all the random donation requests from the activist mommy to help her fight the good fight? Film theory time! I think the original release date was in December of 2017, but when the budget ran out, the activist mommy came out and requested donations after donations after donations after donations after donations. Then all of a sudden, 5 months ago, the film gets wrapped up and is ready to go? I guess donations go a long way, huh? To end this review, this film was trash. Everything about it was trash. This film belongs in the trash bin where it belongs. Hell, maybe whenever it comes out on DVD in December, I'll do an in-depth review of it. But I guess that will be a time for another day. Final rating, 0 out of 10, pure trash panda.